No, it's okay. Leave it there. I mean, unless it's loud for you. Michelle, the best thing about Zwift is that I don't have to worry about stoplights or stop signs. I can just keep going, which I sometimes do anyway, although only in the most legal ways, of course. If there are any law enforcement officials watching, I never violate traffic laws when I'm out on my bicycle. So this is apparently Richmond. I've only been to Richmond once, so I can't speak to the veracity, I guess is the word, of how accurate the street is. I assume it means Richmond, Virginia, um, but I don't know for sure. This just said Richmond. And there was a big river running through it with islands in it, so uh, there you go. So, 7 o'clock or 7:01. I'm Danny McCaslin. This is a Zwift session. Uh, this is the second time I've been streaming this. First time was earlier this week. The goal this time, versus last time where it was really just get out and ride and, you know, get the heart rate up a little bit and kind of figure out how the whole streaming setup works. This time, my goal is to spend at least 15 to 20 minutes total in the session. I may split it up, hitting like higher heart rates. So for me, getting the heart rate up into like the 160s, um, at least for 20 minutes total, but I might split it into like 2 10-minute sessions. Um, because my Garmin keeps complaining that all of my workouts are like low anaerobic workouts, or low aerobic workouts rather, and not high aerobic workouts, and that I have a deficit, and blah, blah, blah. So I thought to appease the Garmin algorithm, I would try to push it a little harder tonight for at least a little bit in order to hopefully get it to stop nagging me. We invent all this technology to help us, and then the technology like yells at us. So that's not fun. But anyway, I mean, I guess I chose it, but I enjoy it more than the Fitbit that I had. So there you go. But yeah, it's pretty. One of the things that I really like about this software is like you're sometimes riding through fake places, sometimes you're riding through real places. And I think this is a real place. I think it's Richmond, Virginia, but again, I'm not. I know it said Richmond. I guess it could be the Richmond neighborhood in London, like with riding through Ted Lasso or something. But then again, there's a course in London, so yeah, I don't know. I chose something relatively flat-ish. There's like maybe 500 feet of climbing in this whole route. Mostly because, like I said, I wanted to focus a little bit on heart rate later, and probably the easiest way to do that without like searching out a hill and trying to climb a hill is to just like ride on a flat spot and then like shift up into a harder gear so that you're working a little bit harder to push yourself. So for example, if I switch up a couple of gears and start riding at this level, you guys will start to see my heart rate climb. So, little information about the game. This is a game. It's called Zwift. It's basically like augmented reality, I guess you could call it, although without goggles. So, I'm on a bicycle, which you can't see. But I still haven't quite got the camera placement down. I'm working on that. So I'm on a bike, a real bike, and it's sitting on a trainer. And that trainer has a little like flywheel attached to it. So as I pedal, my wheel rolls against that, and it feeds power information to the computer, which is running a video game called Zwift. And based on the power that I'm outputting and the information that I've entered into the game about my weight and height and things like that, it determines how fast I should be going along the screen. And then as I hit areas where I might get more or less resistance, it'll send signals back to the machine to either tighten or loosen the flywheel so that it provides more or less resistance. So if I start going up a hill, then you might notice me working harder. That's because the machine is providing more resistance, meaning I have to pedal more in order to get it going. So as you can see, just a couple minutes here, I'm climbing into the higher 120s with my heart rate, whereas before I was in like the 1-teens, really casual. This is when I'm running, this is like 125-ish. It's about the low end of what I try to hit. Try to stay between like 125 and 140-ish when I run most of the time. Then if I'm going for a harder run, I'll push it up into the 150s and 160s. And when I do hit the point where I go for those 160s, I won't really be able to talk. So you guys will have to like entertain yourselves in the chat area, which you can do. And now I can't really type. I mean, the computer's far enough away that typing is a little difficult. But if you want to throw a question into the chat, then I can answer it verbally. But yeah, if you have any questions, throw them out there, or comments. I would say you can include your dislikes, but this is YouTube, so that's kind of a given, right? Like if you want to crap all over something like on the internet, YouTube is the place to go, right? Maybe that's not the case anymore. I don't know. Used to. So it was freezing in the apartment before I started this. And as you can see, I'm already sweating. Don't have a fan. I just haven't found the right fan yet. Like trying to find something that fits. It's a fairly small room. Trying to find something that fits that will I don't know, be able to cool me even beyond the computer. I kind of want one of those stand fans, um, so I can get over the screen. But something that won't disrupt the microphone. By the way, is the sound okay? Throw something in the chat if there's a problem with the sound, or if you think the sound sounds fine. Um, I had a little bit of a kerfuffle setting everything up today, so I wanted to make sure. The first time I ever tried this, I had an issue with the audio would cut out before I would even start, and I couldn't figure it out. And finally, I shut it all down, and then I tried it again. It just worked. So I thought, okay, all right, we got it. And then today, it did the same thing. I just happened to have Device Manager open, and it turns out that my microphone, because it has a headphone jack in it, also acts as a speaker. So when I was plugging in my microphone, it was assuming that I wanted to use that as a speaker as well. And so, yeah, that was kind of jacked up. But finally figured that out today, so it shouldn't be a problem later on. At least they had those lights set up as like a caution light instead of a stoplight. That's nice. So more about Zwift. It's not the same as riding outdoors. For one, you don't have to deal with any kind of resistance. And now my bike is a hybrid, like a sort of road gravel hybrid. It's from a company called Salsa Cycles. It's a Salsa Journeyman. Picked this up in 2020, and 2 to 3 months after getting it, ended up riding or not even quite. I think I picked it up towards the end of September that year, and then on election day, actually the day after election day, we set out from Pittsburgh to ride all the way to Williamsport, Maryland. So we rode the Great Allegheny Pass, and then in Cumberland, Maryland, hopped on the Sienna Canal Trail and did the first 87 miles of that. Because Williamsport says at about 100 miles, but it counts up from BC, so I think it's 187 total. So I think the total was 240, something like that. But it was a nice ride. It was really fun. I did it with a friend of mine, Patrick, and we had a blast. Anyway, so that's the cycle that I got. But being a hybrid bike and not just the setup that I happened to buy, because I got a really good deal on it. It is, it's a straight bar bike, so it doesn't have the drop bars, which Strava is kind of maybe the word bias is right towards drop bars. When I do training sessions, there are times where it'll be go into aero mode, drop into your drop bars, and I'm sorry guys, I can't do that. I don't have that. It's available to me. So what I do is just grab the middle of the bar, because I figure that provides similar stresses on the joints. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. So, so talking about that trip, yeah, like, so we started in Pittsburgh. We rode the whole thing. It was like 3.5 days. I think we finished around noon on the last day, which also happened to be the day that, so like I said, we started on the day after election day. We were like, the last thing I remember doing before I went to sleep is watching the news a little bit to see like if there were election results available. And then that Saturday was the day that the results, that they finally decided the election. So my joke was that they like waited for us. They like knew I was in the middle of the wilderness, and they waited until we came back. Of course, Patrick didn't care. He's Canadian, so it didn't matter to him. In fact, explaining how an American election works to someone who has like a parliamentary system, they think we're nuts. They think it's just crazy. Because it is weird. I mean, yeah, it's weird. Sure. A little weird, at least. Like, that's better. Trying to organize my screen so that I can see the chat really well and also see my Zwift screen really well. So really though, anyone familiar with Richmond? Like, I think this says I'm on it says Broad Street 90-day PRs. So I think that might just be what I just did. I had like 41 seconds there. Dude, it's tough. Like, being the type of cyclist I am, like, I don't know, I don't think I'm quite there yet, getting back to it, but I could go for a long time. Like, I trained for like a month by just going out Saturday morning, riding 30 miles up the canal, and riding back. Because Patrick had told me, like, the way, with the time we have allotted and all that, this is going to be like 60-some mile days. So I wanted to make sure I was prepared for that, you know? And so yeah, and it even came like kind of naturally to me. I learned a little bit about like fueling for a bike is a little different than fueling for running. Like, I can run fasted. Like, I can wake up in the morning and run 4 miles at my like slow pace, my like regular everyday trying to get the heart rate up, trying to get the muscles moving pace. But like cycling fasted, or even like, because I did eat before I went out the first time, but not a lot. So I got to the end and I was wiped. So if you know the like tri-state area between Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia, I basically got from Williamsport all the way to Shepherdstown. And I was just wiped. So I laid there for a little bit. I finished the water that I had, and I started pedaling back. And thankfully, along the CNO, there are pumps every 5 miles or so. Like, basically, the CNO has a backpacking camp about every 5 miles. And so I was able to, like, stop and get water at places like that. But I didn't have any food. And I was bonking, like, seriously. It was crazy. And so I come back and I hit this area where there's a dam along the river and a lot of people stop and take pictures. And I have no food. I have my wallet with me. I got like $6 in my wallet. So I found this lady she was like eating a granola bar. So I was like, hey, do you have any spare granola bars? because I'm like out of food. And I've got some money. I'll give you $6 for a granola bar. And these are like these tiny, like the wimpiest little, like great value brand granola bars. They're like maybe 110 calories, if that. I'm like, I'll pay you money. And she's like, no, fine. Yeah, here, take. And she gave me one. I think she offered two, but I think I was like, I want to see how one does. So I just ate the one, and it was fine. Like, basically, I want to say another 12 miles or so along the C&O, which is flat. So it was fine getting back. And then I went to Sheets. I'm like, where's myself? But I learned, like, yeah, you got to eat something. And of course, now I even take food with me instead of just like eating beforehand, especially for a long trip. But so if you look at the top left side of the screen, you'll see my total wattage at any given time. 209 watts, 196, 163, etc. Below that, the number 88 or 89 right now, that's my RPM. So I have a cadence monitor on my pedal. So it tells me how fast I'm pedaling. The number beside that is my heart rate. If you look on the top right side, you'll see a little black bar with a percentage. It says -5%, -2%, 1% now. That is the grade. I don't know why I'm killing myself so early here when I plan on trying some high heart rate efforts. So I'm going to downshift and play it cool. Mario, that's inappropriate. I don't do poop pants efforts unless I absolutely have to. And this is not a point where I absolutely have to. So this is, in some ways, it's easier than outside. There's a lot of things you don't have to deal with. You don't have to deal with like road texture as far as like bumpiness goes. Although if I ride onto different kinds of roads during this ride, they're like maps that go on in the background of the game that determine how fast I can go on, say, cobblestone or gravel compared to asphalt. There's another stop sign with stoplights. Huh. I never noticed that before. I don't know if I ever saw it before until Michelle pointed it out. The goal, from what I can see, as far as trying to improve your power consistently, is to try to, like, you do harder workouts and you do easier workouts, but what you want to be able to do is, at a reasonable heart rate, you want to be able to pedal at around 80 to 90 RPM. Because as I've done, there's this calculation that they do in cycling called FTP. I know, like, so little about cycling, dude. Like, I'm doing this, and I really just, like, jumped in. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's jump into cycling. Let's, at first, it was all about being able to do that trip. And right now, it's just about getting better at it. But I still don't fully understand it. So, like, there's this number called FTP. And it's based on being able to produce a particular amount of wattage at that 80 to 90 pace for a particular amount of time. And sometimes it's represented as watts per kilo, which if you look on the Zwifters nearby on the right side of the page, and you see my name there highlighted in blue, you'll see I have a 1.9 watts per kilo right now. Whew. Getting harder to talk. Six, 10% grade, 9% grade. One 170 feet. Seventy. Sixty. Yeah. What did I get? 43rd place. I'll take it. Oh, out of 54? Okay. Oh. Wow. All right, that's where it is, man. That is where it's at. We're up into the 160s. Might as well try to stay here for a bit. Oh. Oh shit! There's another hill coming. Where's this at? Oh, gotta get that heart rate up. Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh man. Oh man, I just screwed myself. Ah, 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 ah. Starting to bump a little. Dudes, this is hard. So I give it a push. I wonder, we're gonna cheat. Oh wait, I don't know if Arrow Boost actually does any good. Yeah, I think that only does good if I'm like drafting. Oh well. Take a break after I finish this. Because unlike Wario over there, I don't need to poop. But I need to hit the head. Colored socks! Holy moly! Alright, guys. Give me like 5 minutes. I'll be right back. I just realized I'm like talking and my mic was turned off. And I don't know if anyone saw that and thought, hey, let's tell the big sweaty guy that he's got his mic muted. But it is what it is. So assuming you all can hear me now, what I was saying is that I got this trainer as a gift for myself for Christmas. And one of the reasons is that I'm going to be running a half marathon this year. And farthest I'd run was a 10K. And I improved on my time from last year, but not great. I mean, I feel like I could have done better. So my trainer basically wrote out a plan, and she's great. She's done marathons. She's done the Boston Marathon. Like she knows what she's doing. And so she wrote out a plan for me. And in order to do the half marathon in June, I basically have to start in 2 weeks with my training. And in this part of the country, we've had a mild January, but we usually don't have a horrible January, at least not until the end. But February can get particularly bad as far as snow and stuff like that goes. So I wanted to make sure that I had something that I could do to at least replace my short runs as a cardio activity. So that is this. But it's also a big fun toy. And so Christmas, I couldn't wait to just hop on this thing and start going. And 2 days after that, I was feeling froggy. So I tried to climb a 3,000-foot climb on this thing. Bad idea. I got 1,000 feet. Oh, you still can't hear me? Uh-oh. So, let's see. So I've been talking to myself this whole time. How about now? Oh, wow, it's loud. Okay, how about now? Yeah, it's going into the red every time I talk. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. I wonder. Okay, is that any better? Maybe. Okay, how about now? Anything now? I wonder if it's in Windows that it's muted somehow. Microphone. Oh, shoot. I'm not worried about privacy of the microphone. I'm worried about that. Speaker there. Okay, can you hear anything now? Okay, hold on a second. One. Okay, testing. Okay, I'm getting sound out of my YouTube stream. I will say there's like a 30-second delay between what I see on my screen and what you see on the YouTube feeds, but that's to be expected. My previous time. Well, how about that? Wow. All right, Michelle, that's good. I think, I wonder if when Zwift paused, maybe, and the sound cut out, because I did mute my microphone, I wonder if maybe YouTube thought I wasn't broadcasting anymore. So they, like, I don't know, did something to the broadcast. It's all good, though. If I can get controversial for a second, look at how peaceful this city looks without cars. Like, no smog, no one honking at you, no one trying to run you down. I was on the main drag in my little town here. I was sitting at a stoplight. This big diesel pickup comes up behind me. And main drag here, there's always cars parked along the side of the road, so you can't really get out of someone's way. When he starts revving his engine at me as soon as the light turns, when I take off, I'm not pulling a lot. I'm pulling maybe like 15, I'd say, 15 miles an hour. And the speed limit's 25, mind you. And on top of that, like, if you're gunning it at a light in this town, you're basically like, most of the time, you're just trying to be really fast to get to the next light. Like, you're not gonna, you're not gonna like beat that second light. It's not gonna happen unless you go really slowly. So like, he's revving his engine at me, and I'm just going. Like, I'm not trying to go faster. I'm not gonna go slower, but I'm certainly not gonna try to go faster either. And yeah, so of course we both pull up to the next light, and then it's another gun it situation because I've got this like crazy guy behind me, and like, so I take off, and like, I had to sort of like jiggle the wheel to not hit the car in front of me because I'm just freaked out by this guy who, I don't know, something was going on with him. He had to be somewhere 10 minutes ago. So anyway, after that first light, I was able to get through a section of cars and then like squeeze over to the side of the road. I was turning anyway, and that's where I needed to be. And he passes me, and his passenger gives me this dirty look. And I'm like, I'm not making you late. The traffic light's making you late. I think you're just mad because you're looking at someone who could like probably outrun you. I'm not even that fast of a runner, but what is that? Is that a giant squirrel? So I've been carless for a few days. The car's in the shop. That's one of the reasons. There's another squirrel, or whatever that is, a fox. Anyway, that's one of the reasons I'm doing this tonight instead of like, I don't know, I had a couple of plans, but that's the last movement on a hill climb. Some thumbs up while I'm out here. what this is all about, man. It's like just trying to go and not to hurt yourself, but just do a little better than you did last time. Got a nice downhill. I want to see if I can hit 40. No, I guess not. Not at my current level, at least. Whoa. Whoa. So when I ride outside, I'll have like 3 or 4 bottles with me. I'm one who's like kind of afraid of running out of water. It's because it's like miserable. I'm not even usually in places where like I would have to be away from water for very long. It's just miserable. So, but the problem is, as I mentioned, my car's in the shop, and all but one of my bike water bottles is in the car. So I've got this bad boy, and then I have this, which is an Algene bottle that I don't think will fit into any of my bottle holders, any of my cages here. So I can check. No, it won't fit. So I can't have as much water on the bike as I usually do. Although usually what I have is 2 bottles in cages, and then I keep that thing. I normally have a rack on the back, and I keep that strapped to the rack. Or in a pannier that I'll keep on the rack. Just in case. That's also really nice for if I have something that I need water for. Like when I was bike packing, I actually had that bottle, and I had a Camelback that I would wear. But I had a lot of dehydrated food, and trying to squeeze water out of a Camelback for dehydrated food is kind of a pain in the butt. So I would keep that around for my meals. How well I'm going to handle this next set of hill climbs, man. Might be rough. If you have friends that enjoy watching sweaty men torture themselves, I'm the channel for that. See, this is one of the reasons I kind of wanted to start streaming, is because if I'm doing this alone, it's really easy to go, no, I'm not going to do this hill climbs. But with an audience, if there's only like one person watching, I don't know. It's kind of a kind of a wimpy move. You just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, as long as I'm not killing myself, you know. So yeah, you guys are keeping me honest, you could say. All right, if I beat my current 90-day PR, I get to eat dinner tonight. That's a joke. I'm not actually going to starve myself. Yikes. Boy, you feel that right away. Well, I was a little further ahead, but it started to get difficult. Oh, it is. That was just a little kicker. All right, here we go. KO1 time. I think it's actually pedaling in my higher front gear last time. So I'm going to keep it lower this time. I guess I could push it. Let's see what happens. Especially since I'm beating my old time is beating my current time. Oh God. Oh my God. All right, yeah, no. I'm not pushing it anymore. Yeah, not so worried about that PR. I hit it hard the first time. I feel good about that. Still gonna try to keep the heart rate up though. Oh boy. How about that? Guys, it's hard. Oh. I got passed by that guy? I don't know who that is. Oh boy. Yeah, guys, look. I want to get the time in, but these efforts are hurting. So I don't think I'm gonna push super hard to the end. We'll see though. All right, I'm down one bottle, and I'm down the Gatorade. I didn't want to eat dinner before I rode. That can get uncomfortable, so I decided to bop down to the corner store and buy a Gatorade and a Snickers bar for like pre-race fuel. So I ate the Snickers bar at like 6:30. Ooh, spicy. Damn. Dang it, man. I don't think I'm going to PR it again. Don't think it's in the cards. The legs are really feeling it. Oh, thanks for a thumbs up. Whoever did that. Oh. It's not very much. Yes. To go. We're gonna get the PR after all. Woo! What's that? All right, that was awesome. I think I got exactly what I wanted. I think I got approximately 10 minutes in the like 160 heart range. I mean, approximately 20 minutes. Did I say 10? 2 10s. I think I did 2 10s. And let me just go for another couple minutes. And first let my legs rest a little. And also, thanks, Mario. Appreciate the enthusiasm. Give my legs a rest a little bit, and also because it's kind of cool to just hit that even hour and a half, right? And then we'll call it a day or night, whatever it is. I like this course because there's a lot of flats, and I can practice like getting up to speed on the flats. Then you got those hills, and hill training is pretty important. Like, if you live where I live, there's not a whole lot of places to ride that don't have some kind of hill to them. So, that was intense. I didn't think I'd make it. But, it's never not day somewhere. That's true, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's 100% true. Okay, hit that hour and a half. All right, so I'm going to call it a night. Well, thanks a lot, guys. If you enjoyed the stream, please consider liking, subscribing, and all that. Help me get some numbers up. Maybe one day I can monetize this thing. I don't know. I want to start actually creating videos about my training routines as I'm doing this. Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate it. As I'm doing this training for the half marathon, I've got some 5Ks and 10Ks that are like built into the schedule as well. So, I'll keep you all updated on those. But I'm thinking that like starting towards the end of the month, I've got one video at least that I want to make now, kind of introduce myself to people. But towards the end of the month, I'm hoping for at least one video a week, kind of a training synopsis. I'll kind of start with like, this is what I plan to do this week, and kind of keep track of everything, and then at the end show you how I actually did. It's all about keeping me honest, man. All right, thanks a lot. Like I said, like, subscribe, hit that little like notification thingy, and it'll tell you when I'm going live. And otherwise, I'll like throw it out on Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that. But until then, I'll see you next time.